I spend so much time looking outward, focused on flaws I believe resided only in you. I built complex defenses around my own spirit, convinced that my perspective was perfectly true. I demanded perfection, insisted on change, never considering the mirror I failed to face. I saw our struggles as your shortcomings, putting you consistently in the difficult space. The breakup came not with a sudden explosion, but a quiet, chilling fade of the light. And in the crushing, deafening aftermath, I was finally forced to confront my own side. The isolation became a harsh, honest teacher, stripping away all the pretense and the lies. I watched my own reflection with painful clarity beneath the cold, unyielding skies, and the truth that finally shattered my arrogance. The insight that made my spirit acutely fall was the simple, devastating awareness that the fault wasn't just yours, no. I see the person I was, blinded by ego, and the gentle spirit I carelessly let decline. The greatest, deepest sorrow is that I finally realized the fault was utterly mine. To fall was utterly mine. And with a force that truly entered my core, I began to realize the full extent of my error. To realize that the affection I thought I deserved required a self-reflection I feared like terror. I realized that my own stubborn silence, my refusal to bend, was the ultimate shattering blow. The painful understanding that my own closed heart caused a beautiful love to eventually go. I see the person I was, blinded by ego, and the gentle spirit I carelessly let decline. The greatest, deepest sorrow is that I finally realized the fault was utterly mine. I recall the times you desperately pleaded for connection, the effort you offered I constantly ignored. I minimized your pain, rationalized my behavior, believing my position was rightfully secure. The true failure was my inability to listen, to truly see the struggle beneath your brave guise. I took the constant presence for granted, oblivious to the storm building in your eyes. The wisdom has arrived, but tragically late after the final terrible word has been said. And the agony of this self-awareness now fills the space where my beautiful love used to tread. The isolation became a harsh, honest teacher, stripping away all the pretense and the lies. I watched my own reflection with painful clarity beneath the cold, unyielding skies, and the truth that finally shattered my arrogance. The insight that made my spirit acutely fall was the simple, devastating awareness that the fault wasn't just yours at all. I see the person I was, blinded by ego, and the gentle spirit I carelessly let decline. The greatest, deepest sorrow is that I finally realized the fault was utterly, the fault was utterly now, even though I'm excluded. I respect the choice you had to make to survive. I carry this realization as a lasting burden, keeping the honesty of the self-blame alive. I changed, but too late, learning the wisdom after the love had permanently expired. Hey, I realize, now I see. I woke up this morning and the map was gone, the clear bright line that guided every day. The certainty of your presence, the defined destination, has completely vanished and slipped away. I stand at the center of this empty space, a vast, terrifying expanse I cannot discern. Every direction looks indistinguishable, and I don't know the first lesson I need to learn. The anchor that held my entire spirit secure has been lifted, leaving me utterly adrift. And the terrifying silence is the only compass, the final confusing gift. I look for a sign, a whisper, a direction that tells me where I'm finally supposed to be. I try to rely on the self I was before you, but that version is unrecognizable to me. The journey we were on felt so inevitable, so perfectly scripted from the very start. And the collapse of that future leaves only one question, echoing deep inside my heart, with the central purpose gone, with the anchor released. Tell me, where now do I turn? Where now is the pair? Now is the path that leads back to my own core, the wisdom I desperately need to discern. Where now do I find the courage to rebuild a life that was entirely defined by your gentle gaze? The world is too large, too silent, too terrifying without your spirit to illuminate my days. I am lost in the aftermath of your departure, a vessel without a sail or a guiding star. Show me the first single step I need to take. Tell me where now, yeah. I see the spirit surround me, moving with a conviction that feels so effortlessly strong. They seem to know their purpose and destination, knowing exactly where they belong. And I feel like a foreigner in my own existence, someone who suddenly cannot speak the tongue. Every conversation, every task, every moment feels fragile and awkwardly strong. You were the definition of my reality, the framework that held my entire life in place. And without that beautiful binding structure, I simply dissolve in this desolate space. I look for a sign, a whisper, a direction that tells me where I'm falling supposed to be. I try to rely on the self I was before you, but that version is unrecognizable to me. The journey we were on felt so inevitable, so perfectly scripted from the very start. And the collapse of the future leaves only one question, echoing deep inside my heart, with the central purpose gone, with the anchor released. Tell me, where now do I turn? Where now I turn? Where now is the path that leads back to my own core, the wisdom I desperately need to discern? Where now do I find the courage to rebuild a life that was entirely defined by your gentle gaze? The world is too large, too silent, too terrified without your spirit to illuminate my days. I am lost in the aftermath of your departure, a vessel without a sail or a guiding star. Show me the first single step I need to take. Tell me where now you're. I know the answer must come from within me, the courage to forge a new path in the deep. But until that strength finally awakens, I can only pray and silently weep. I'll wait for the whisper of my new direction, the guidance I desperately need to obtain. When I the brightness of the morning, the powerful and endless light that defined our start, the energy of a brand new absolute affection, the unwavering certainty in my heart. We lived every moment at maximum velocity, convinced that the climax would never finally cease. We thought that passion was the only thing that mattered, demanding perpetual, blinding release. But now the air is quiet and gold, and the intensity has slowly begun to recede. And I feel the subtle, undeniable shift, recognizing the necessary changing need. Oh, there is a beauty in this deliberate fading, a gentle wisdom that finally starts to bloom. We are trading the consuming sharp fire for a deep, comforting and resonant room. It's not a loss of affection, but a transformation, a truth that is softer and utterly clear. The love has grown up, shed its bright edges, accepting the quiet of what is now near. And here we are now, entering our sunset, the beautiful golden phase of our profound love. Sunset where the light is patient and soft, guided by the wisdom sent from above. The drama has ceased, the striving is over. We simply exist in a contented slow grace. This is the ultimate quiet certainty, the most secure and beautiful place. I am grateful for the fire, but I cherish the stillness, the deep abiding truth of what we are meant to be. Watching the horizon paint itself in slow colors, finding absolute peace with you and with me. You used to worry when the arguments grew quiet, afraid that the silence meant something was wrong. You feared the lack of high, frantic emotion, that the bond wasn't where it belonged. But true permanence is found in the stillness, in the easy, unforced rhythm we effortlessly keep, in the shared gaze that needs no explanation, the silent promises we know run deep. We hold each other with a new tenderness, acquire respect for the spirits we helped finally mend. This beautiful settled affection is the ultimate definition of a true friend. There is a beauty in this deliberate fading, a gentle wisdom that finally starts to bloom. We are trading the consuming sharp fire for a deep, comforting and resonant room. It's not a loss of affection, but a transformation, a truth that is softer and utterly clear. The love has grown up, shed its bright edges, accepting the quiet of what is now near. And here we are now, entering our sunset, the beautiful golden phase of our profound love. Sunset where the light is patient and soft, guided by the wisdom sent from above. The drama has ceased, the striving is over. We simply exist in the contented slow grace. This is the ultimate quiet certainty, the most secure and beautiful place. I am grateful for the fire, but I cherish the stillness, the deep abiding truth of what we are meant to be. Watching the horizon paint itself in slow colors, finding absolute peace with you and with me. The day was intense, the journey was long, but look at the beauty we finally embrace. The quiet, perfect contentment that settles over this hallowed, cherished space. I wouldn't trade this calm, steady certainty for the frantic passion we knew at the start. Talking see the hesitation in your spirit, the way you pull back right at the edge of the leap. The fear of the fall is paralyzing your motion, preventing the beautiful promises you swore to keep. You've been wounded by the history you carry, the betrayals that left you fragile and small. And now you equate vulnerability with weakness, expecting the inevitable painful fall. But staying safely contained in the shadows will never lead to the life you deserve to command. The greatest affection requires absolute risk, a courage you must finally understand. You have to fight the recall, the temptations, the familiar, desolate ground. The greatest adventure requires your entire presence, demanding the sound you haven't yet found. I see the power held captive inside you, the strength that you desperately try to deny. Don't let the ghost of the past dictate the future. It's time to spread your spirit and fly. You have to face the fear in the mirror and promise your core that you will be brave. Be brave in the moments of vulnerability, knowing that the spirit you save is worth the effort you gave. Be brave enough to risk the affection, to offer the trust you feel is a terrifying cost. I will hold the space for your healing, protecting the treasure you thought you had lost. The risk is real, but the reward is immense. The freedom that waits on the other side of the pain. I need you to look at me, trust the connection, and promise me you will be brave again. Baby, baby, I know the voice of doubt is persuasive, whispering reasons why you should remain hidden. And still, it uses the past as a weapon against potential, manipulating your desperate will. But I will not allow that illusion to triumph. I will challenge the lies that attempt to control. I see the genuine spirit. You are meant to be the complete, beautiful entity of your soul. Don't wait for the absence of fear to begin. Courage isn't the feeling of absolute ease. It's the purposeful movement forward despite the terror, fighting the anxiety that will not cease. You won't defect, the reflex to retreat now. The temptation is so familiar, desolate ground. You have to fight the reflex to retreat now. The temptation to choose the familiar, desolate ground. The greatest adventure requires your entire presence, demanding the sound you haven't yet found. I see the power held captive inside you, the strength that you desperately try to deny. Don't let the ghost of the past dictate the future. It's time to spread your spirit and fly. You have to face the fear in the mirror and promise your core that you will be brave. Take my hand and feel the safety, the certainty I offer you, and declare I promise the risk is absolutely worth it. A beautiful affection beyond all compare. I will stand with you against the shadows. Just choose to step out into the light. He prayed for us. The night felt long and relentless, defined by the sorrow that clung to my spirit and mind. I wrestle with the ghosts of the old failures, the painful debris that I thought I couldn't leave behind. The darkness was tempting, offering comfort and resignation, the silence that felt heavy and absolute. But deep in the stillness, I refused to surrender, holding on to a resilient, stubborn root. I knew that the cycle of despair had to finally break, that the shadow had run its course, and it's time. Oh, and I waited for the faintest subtle sign of the healing, the ascent to the sublime. I shed the last remnants of the heavy burden, the need to define myself by the sorrow and the cost I look forward, not backward, choosing to celebrate the knowledge I gained when I was lost. I opened my spirit to the first potential warmth, the gentle soft touch of the light on my core, the realization that the pain was a temporary visitor and it wouldn't reside here anymore. And here it is now, the beautiful ultimate truth, the brilliant, magnificent sunrise, sunrise, bringing a new absolute clarity, reflected in the hope that now fills my eyes. The darkness is completely shattered and broken, the future is illuminated and wide and free. This is the powerful beginning of my new self, the resilient being I was always meant to be. I feel the warmth of the promise washing over me, the final decisive end of the night. The beautiful, undeniable evidence of healing is found in the glorious sunrise. I will carry the lessons learned from the struggle, acknowledging the strength that the darkness provided. I won't pretend that the journey was simple or that the path was always safely guided, but embrace the challenge. I stand ready for the future that finally calls. I am whole, I am strong, I am finally ready to conquer any wall. This is the moment of Genesis, the rebirth, the profound unburdened decree. Talking to unpavin decree. The sunrise for me. I mark the time by the phases of the moon, counting the hours since you walked out the door. The silence you left behind is a constant weight, heavier than any I've carried before. Right now, the pain is a physical entity, a constant companion that refuses to yield. It colors every thought, dictates every step, a wound that feels impossible to be healed. It seems like a massive impossibility, a distant, unreachable, hopeful claim to imagine a moment without this ache, without the constant echo of your name. I refuse to be defined by this current devastation, though the sorrow feels overwhelmingly vast. I hold on to the fragile, unwavering belief that this difficult moment is not built to last. I surrender to the necessity of the process, the agonizing work of learning to let go. 'Cause the spirit is designed for resilience, and that's the one truth that I finally know. I know the healing will happen eventually. One day I won't feel this crushing pain. One day the memories will lose their sharp edges, clearing the aftermath of the rain. One day I will wake up and realize the freedom, the lightness that finally sets my spirit free. The ability to smile without forcing the feeling, the return of the being I used to be. I'm planting a seed of determination in the darkness, waiting for the sunlight to finally appear. I hold on to the promise of that one day, dissolving every present fear. They say time is the only true medicine, the gentle hand that works tirelessly to mend. But standing in the middle of the stillness, the concept feels like it will never truly end. I challenge the sorrow by looking forward, focusing on the potential that waits for me there. A future of quiet contentment, of self-possession, of freedom from this heavy despair. I don't need a grand sudden miracle, I just need a subtle, slow shift of the tide, a quiet accumulation of moments where the sorrow finds nowhere to finally hide. I refuse to be defined by this current devastation, though the sorrow feels overwhelmingly vast. I hold on to the fragile, Embracing the hurt, allowing the full weight of the loss to settle in. But I will never let go of the conviction that one day the new life will finally begin. This is my quiet, absolute assurance, the vow I make to the entirety of my own core. I will see the sun one day, and I will be heartbroken no more. Don't We're standing here now in the wreckage, surveying the damage the storm left behind. We both contributed to the chaos, leaving scars that the passing of time may not bind. The air is thick with the residue of battle, the unspoken sorrow of what we chose to let fail. It's easy to walk away now, to accept the conclusion set in the final cold seal. But every time my spirit prepares for the silence, for the absolute terrifying goodbye, I look at the fire that still flickers between us, and the reason we both tried so hard to deny. Before we assign the final verdict, before we close the book and simply turn the key, we have to ask if the weight of the sorrow outweighs the potential of what we could still be. We can choose the comfort of the ending, the simple relief of finally letting the connection cease. But the greater courage is found in the question, seeking the necessary painful peace. So before we let fear define our future, can we just try to break down this wall? Can we look past the recent sharp pain and remember the reason we stood strong and tall? Can we choose to fight for the promise we made, acknowledging the mistakes we both finally own? I need to know if the essence of the affection, the true original love, is entirely gone. If there's even a fragment of hope left to salvage, a chance for the bond to finally renew. Tell me honestly, my love, can we find the strength to see this through? I know the sorry doesn't mend the destruction, nor erase the bitter words that were cast, but acknowledgement is the start of the labor, moving beyond the shadow of the past. We've both evolved through this intense period, becoming spirits we didn't intend to define. And maybe those new versions of ourselves can rediscover a beautiful, enduring design. It takes greater strength to rebuild than to abandon, more courage to face the necessary man. And I believe that the affection we share is a treasure worth fighting for right until the end. Before we assign the final verdict, before we close the book and simply turn the key, we have to ask if the weight of the sorrow outweighs the potential of to salvage, a chance for the bond to finally renew. Tell me honestly, my love, can we find the strength to see this through? Can we please? They look at the exhaustion in our eyes, the visible strain of the battles we constantly face. They see the arguments and the distance, and tell us it's time to abandon this difficult space. The voices around us preach surrender, advising us to choose the easier, separate way. They say the true affection shouldn't require this effort, shouldn't demand the struggle every day. But they don't understand the depths of the foundation, the resilient truth that we built from the start. The bond we share isn't passive or simple, it's a profound, defiant work of the heart. I know the path is full of resistance, the journey is constantly trying to break us apart. But every conflict we conquer, every painful step is a testament to the strength in our heart. This isn't about the absence of sorrow, it's about the refusal to simply give in and retreat. Because the affection that is truly worth keeping is the one that accepts the bitter with the sweet. And that is the truth of our commitment, the absolute unyielding proof that we are fighting for the future we promised, keeping the deep, persistent light ignited, fighting against the doubt and the sorrow, the external forces that try to tear us down. We are not broken, we are simply engaged in the fiercest, most vital battle in this entire town. I will stand with you against every challenge, I will defend this affection until the very end. We are not falling apart, my spirit, we are powerfully, absolutely fighting to make. I acknowledge the moments I wanted to quit, the times I nearly surrendered to the consuming despair. I wanted the simple relief of the finality, the escape from the heavy demanding air. But then I look at the vulnerability in your eyes, the profound trust that you place in my core, and I realize that abandoning that reliance will be the ultimate sorrow, and something I could never implore. We accept the imperfections and the difficulty, knowing that these struggles are a necessary part of the climb. The victory isn't the easy journey, it's the defiant stand against the ravages of time. Oh no, the path is full of resistance, the journey is constantly trying to break us apart. But every conflict we conquer, every painful step is a testament to the strength in our heart. This isn't about the absence of sorrow, it's about the refusal to simply give in and retreat. Because the affection that is truly worth keeping is the one that accepts the bitter with the sweet. And that is the truth of our commitment, the absolute unyielding proof that we are fighting for the future we promised, keeping the deep, persistent light ignited, fighting against the doubt and the sorrow. over the simple ease. Because the prize of this resilient affection is the ultimate powerful inner peace. We are in this together, and together we will finally prevail. Eyes fighting, always us. I look at the distance that now stretches between our two separate and wounded cores. I review the catalog of past failures, the reasons we couldn't conquer all the doors. My mind catalogs the logical evidence, concluding that the separation is utterly final and true. It tells me that accepting the loss is the mature choice, the only sensible thing to do. Yet beneath the layers of reason and resignation, a faint, persistent curiosity starts to rise. A fragile, almost whispered doubt about the conclusion, reflected in my searching eyes. Yeah. We shared a connection that burned so profoundly, a power I haven't experienced before or since. The depth of affection defies the cold logic, the rational reasons that try to convince. I'm not asking for certainty or for promises, just the courage to question the final decree, to let a small tentative hope finally bloom, setting my inner spirit free. After all that show, the silence, the separation, is it possible to go back to the start? Is it possible to mend the fundamental breakage, the profound fracture deep inside the heart? Is it possible to see a future unclouded by the errors and failures that defined our descent? To build a foundation that is stronger than the past, a commitment perfectly sent. I need to know if the essence of the bond survives, if the original fire can still be retrieved. I ask with the integral of my spirit, is it possible to be fully believed? I know that the path back requires immense labor, a commit that is brutally honest and raw. It demands confronting the fear and the failure, adhering to a difficult, complex law. But the thought of living without the completeness you offer leaves a void that nothing else can fill. And that desperate, ongoing sense of absence is a need that commands my persistent will. If we both have grown from the devastating lessons, if we both have finally changed and become new, could those better versions of our separate spirits find a way to make this deep affection true? We shared a connection that burned so profoundly, a power I haven't experienced before or since. That depth of affection defies the cold logic, the rational reasons that try to convince. I'm not asking for certainty or for promises, just the courage to question the final decree, to let a small tentative hope finally bloom, setting my inner spirit free. Mystery so big, the thoroughness, the separation. Tell me, is it possible spirit of what we could mend. Don't answer with logic or with anger. Just tell me where your true spirit will finally tend. Is there a pathway back to the beginning? Or must we resign to this sorrow and this Is it possible for us? I see the shadows reflected in your spirit, the restless fear that steals your precious sleep. You carry the weight of the future's uncertainty, the promises you feel you might fail to keep. You're anxious about the journey ahead of you, the challenges that seem too immense and too wide. You doubt your own resilience, your capacity to endure, feeling you have nowhere left to hide. Please look at me now and take a slow deep breath. Let the tension finally begin to subside. You don't have to carry this heavy burden alone. I constant and always stay right by your side. I know the world can feel overwhelming, a constant source of stress and consuming despair. But your spirit is stronger than you give credit for, capable of standing against any air. You are not measured by flawless perfection, but by the courage you show when you choose to try. And I am here as your anchor, an absolute constant beneath the most turbulent sky. Don't worry about the path that lies ahead, or the battles you think you might one day face. Don't worry, because I will be the certainty, the secure and unwavering presence in this space. I will hold the faith for your spirit when yours falters, reminding you of the strength that resides in your core. Don't worry about the things you can't control, just trust the affection I promise to pour. Let go of the need to predict every outcome, just focus on the moment we are sharing right here. Take comfort in my presence, my spirit, my love, and simply don't worry, my dear. Greatest fears are often silent projections, shadows we create inside our own minds. They feed on the doubt and the isolation, leaving no clarity far behind. But when you share that anxiety with my spirit, the power it holds instantly starts to abate, because the burden is halved when affection steps in, conquering the relentless choice of fate. You are perfect in your vulnerability and your effort. You are more than enough exactly as you are now. There's no need to strive for some unattainable standard. Let go of that impossible vow. I know the world can feel overwhelming, a constant source of stress and consuming despair. But your spirit is stronger than you give credit for, capable of standing against any air. You are not measured by flawless perfection, but by the courage you show when you choose to try. Absolute constant beneath the most turbulent slow down the quick pace of your own core. I will be the quiet assurance that waits, standing guard at the gentle, welcoming door. We will face whatever comes, but we will face it together, forever side by side. Don't whine, I love you. The world has thrown its sharpest evidence, the logical reasons why we should simply retreat. It points to the failures, the painful disagreements, the times we admitted ultimate defeat. Doubt is a shadow that lurks in the quiet, whispering cynicism into the vulnerable space. It suggests that this affection is a fragile fantasy, something that time will ultimately erase. But there is a knowing that transcends the logic, a quiet certainty that burns deep inside my core, a power that looks past the surface damage and demands something more. I choose to disregard the external noise, the fears that our past so easily tries to recall. I choose to rely on the truth of the connection, the depth of the feeling that refuses to fall. This isn't blind faith or naive delusion, this is a profound recognition of a powerful sign. The spirit that is truly meant for mine holds a beautiful absolute design. And against every voice that preaches surrender, against every doubt, I believe in this love, I believe in the strength of our spirits, a gift that was clearly sent from above. I believe in the promises we made in the darkness, the resilience we forged when we finally met. I believe that this journey is destined to continue, carrying us right until the end. I don't need a guarantee or a flawless history, I just need the power of my own inner plea. I look at your spirit, I embrace your entire core, and wholly, completely I believe. Oh, I've seen the way you fight for the beautiful honesty, the dedication you bring to this complex space. I've witnessed your effort, your growth, your compassion, your commitment to setting a patient pace. That unwavering devotion is the only evidence I need to silence the critics and conquer the fray. Because true affection is not found in the effortless, but in the choice we make every single day. We are partners in this powerful endeavor, bound by a purpose that time will not erase, and the shared commitment is the ultimate certainty, the beautiful comfort of this very place. I choose to disregard the external noise, the fears that our past so easily tries to recall. I choose to rely on the truth of the connection, the depth of the feeling that refuses to fall. This isn't blind faith or naive delusion, this is a profound recognition of a powerful sign. The spirit that is truly meant for mine holds a beautiful absolute design. Against every voice that preaches surrender, against every doubt, I believe in this love, I believe in the strength of our spirits, a gift that was clearly sent from above. I believe in the the whole picture clearly. It's trusting the light when the world is in pain. And I place my entire unwavering conviction on the love that will forever remain. I will never stop choosing this affection, the ultimate truth that defines my core.
I know the path we walk right now is complex, filled with shadows and demands on our core. The present reality is relentless, requiring patience we haven't relied on before. You are focused on a necessary endeavor, a journey that consumes all your available light. And I stand back, honoring your need for space, enduring the loneliness of the long night. It would be easy to rush the process, to demand attention, to insist you stay near. But true affection is built on understanding, conquering every selfish and consuming fear. I hold on to the truth of our commitment, the promise that was made beneath a clear sky. I choose to trust the future we plan, letting the anxiety and the doubt pass me by. I won't let the distance become a distraction, or allow the current struggle to sever the bond. I am simply preparing my spirit for the moment our futures will finally correspond. I know that the waiting won't last forever. When the time is right, we will finally meet. When the time is right, the burdens will be lifted, making our victory truly sweet. When the time allows us to align our separate journeys, we will reclaim the effortless grace. I will hold the faith for our beautiful future, knowing you will find your way back to this space. I'm not demanding a schedule or a friendship conclusion, I just trust the journey we are meant to pursue. I am patiently waiting for the convergence, for the moment when the time makes us new. You worry about the effect of this absence, fearing the connection might start to decay. You ask if the deep devotion will survive the miles, the challenge of being so far away. But true affection is not conditional on proximity, it is a permanent choice of the willing heart. The strength of our bond is proven by endurance, by the refusal to fall right from the start. I use this solitude for my own preparation, nurturing the strength I need to fully give, so that when we finally reunite, I can offer the best of the spirit I choose to live. I hold on the truth of our commitment, the promise that was made beneath a clear sky. I choose to trust the future we plan, letting the anxiety and the doubt pass me by. I won't let the distance become a distraction, or allow the current struggle to sever the bond. I am simply preparing my spirit for the moment our futures will finally correspond. way back to this space. I'm not demanding a schedule or a frantic conclusion. I just trust the journey we are meant to pursue. I am patiently waiting for the convergence, for the moment when the time and source new. Patience is the ultimate measure of devotion, the gentle hand that holds the bond secure. I know the universe conspires to bring us together. The certainty of that is absolute and pure. I will wait for the perfect moment, the natural, beautiful flow of the tide. When the time comes, I'll be here. You needed to find your center, to navigate the silence inside your own core. You spoke of a journey acquiring distance, a step away from what we'd known before. I felt the sharp, immediate sting of the absence, the terrifying pull of the empty space. I wanted to fight, to argue, to demand your return, to hold you tightly in this fragile place. But I saw the necessity in your spirit's plea, the undeniable truth of your current need. And true affection isn't a selfish demand, it's the quiet acceptance of a plan at sea. I know that the minutes will feel like ages, and the days will drag by with an unbearable ease. But my dedication is a rock unmoving, built on a promise that finally brings peace. I will hold the faith for both of our spirits, trust in the bond we are meant to pursue. I won't let the fear of the unknown guide my actions. I choose to simply be honest and true. Don't need to rush the healing process, because my entire being is decided. I'll wait until the shadows completely diminish, until you walk back through our welcoming gate. I'll wait and hold the space for your spirit, maintaining the connection we know is real. This patient stillness is my ultimate offering, the deepest, most devoted way I can feel. I'm not going anywhere, my love, my anchor, my commitment is absolute and forever set. Go find your peace and return when you're ready. I promise you I'll wait, I'll wait, I'll wait, yeah, wait. I'll wait, yeah. The world suggests that I should find distraction, that I should move on and forget your soft gaze. It offers quick fixes and temporary relief, attempting to pull me from these quiet mazes. But that would be a profound disrespect to the depth of the affection that truly defines my core. I choose the harder, more dedicated path, believing that our love is worth so much more. I tend to my own growth in the solitude, becoming stronger for the day you finally turn. I am using this time for quiet preparation, the essential lesson I needed to learn. I know that the minutes will feel like ages, and the days will drag by with an unbearable ease. But my dedication is a rock unmoving, built on a promise that finally brings peace. I will hold the faith for both of our spirits, trust in the bond we are meant to pursue. I won't let the fear of the unknown guide my actions. I choose to simply be honest and true. You don't need to rush the healing process, because my entire being
connection we know is real. This patience, stillness is my ultimate offering. The deepest, most devoted way I can feel. I'm not going anywhere, my love, my anchor, my commitment is absolute and forever set. Go find your peace and return when you're ready. I promise you I'll wait, I'll wait, yeah. My spirit is a safe harbor for yours, a secure place where you can finally find repose. There's no pressure, no clock, no expectation, just a simple, unconditional love that quietly grows. Take every moment you need for your healing. I will be here when you are finally through. Forever. The calendar page turned over today, marking the final rotation of the sun. It's been a full cycle of devastating silence, a long agonizing distance since you had run. I remember the chaotic wreckage of the departure, the promises that we couldn't keep in the heat. I told myself I needed just a few months to heal, to conquer the sorrow and get back on my feet. But the healing is not linear or simple, and the emptiness you left is still brutally wet. I thought by now the spirit would be stronger, with all the painful memories finally tucked inside. I have lived through 4 distinct seasons without your comforting presence to finally rely upon. I've seen the world change, the leaves fall, the flowers return, waiting for my own gentle dawn. The significance of this anniversary is crushing. It's the moment I realize the gravity of the loss. The affection didn't just fade, it became a permanent testament to the ultimate cost. It's been exactly 1 year of deep, cold solitude. 1 year since I heard your voice or your plea. 1 year since the fundamental connection was severed, changing the entire essence of me. I thought I would be whole by this moment, completely free from the sorrow and the strain. But the truth is a profound, quiet confession. Still feel the exact same crushing pain. The world keeps spinning, the clock keeps moving forward, yet my spirit remains stuck in that day. 1 year has passed and all I can whisper is that the affection won't simply fade away. I've searched for new paths, new directions, new faces, to try and fill the void in my core. I tried to convince myself that the passion would return, that I could love someone else and ignore. But every attempt fell hollow and fleeting, a cheap imitation of the comfort we knew. And that realization forced me back to the center, to the undeniable, simple truth of you. The memory is short, not blurred by the distance. The affection remains untouched by the time's passage. I carry this enduring devotion as a burden, a permanent, difficult message. I have lived through 4 distinct seasons without your comforting presence to finally rely upon. affection didn't just fade, it became a permanent testament to the ultimate cost. It's been exactly 1 year of deep, cold solitude. 1 year since I heard your voice or your plea. 1 year since the fundamental connection was severed, changing the entire essence of me. I thought I would be whole by this moment, completely free from the sorrow and the strain. But the truth is a profound, quiet confession. I still feel the exact same crushing pain. The world keeps spinning, the clock keeps moving forward, yet my spirit remains stuck in that day. 1 year has passed and all I can whisper is that the affection will simply fade away. I don't know how much longer this morning will last, how many more cycles I have left to bear, but I honor the depth of this continuing sorrow, the raw truth of the feelings that I truly share. This isn't just loss, it is a permanent mark, a devotion that defines what I have finally become. To you, 1 year and still loving you. I'm pacing the confines of this empty space, counting the steps I take across the lonely floor. I replay the last conversation in my spirit, searching for the clue I carelessly chose to ignore. They told me that distance would bring the perspective, that time was a great necessary healer and friend. But every morning arrives with the same emptiness and agony that refuses to finally mend. The wound is still raw, the silence is deafening, demanding a strength I'm not sure I possess. And the constant agonizing question burns in my spirit, fueling this debilitating distress. I have surrendered to the sorrow in the process. I have accepted the fact that the ending is true. I'm simply asking for a finite duration, a limit to the pain I must finally wade through. I can endure anything if I know the conclusion, if I see the light at the end of the long road. But this terrifying lack of certainty is the heaviest, most agonizing load. I paid the price, I've learned the devastating lesson. Tell me how until the sorrow finally clears. How long until the memories lose their sharp edge, silencing all of my constant consuming fears. How long must I walk through this devastating silence, carrying the weight of the loss in my core? I need a sign that the healing is finally working, a promise that I won't have to hurt anymore. I'm running on fumes, my spirit is weary, pleading for the certainty of a gentle, easy dawn. Just give me a measure of the suffering I face. Tell me how long until the pain is truly gone. I see the couples around me moving with easy happiness, a comfort that feels so utterly far. And I wonder if I will ever reach that place, if the breakage leaves a permanent final scar. I force myself through the motions of the day, acting the part of the spirit that is supposedly strong. But the truth is a constant undertow of sadness, knowing exactly where I no longer belong. Set milestones and goals for my recovery, believing that effort should for the certainty of a gentle, easy dawn. Just give me a measure of the suffering I face. Tell me how long until the pain is truly gone. I know the answer is whenever it's ready. That true healing can't be rushed or controlled. But my spirit begs for a simple estimation, a future that can finally be foretold. I just need a marker, a sign of the progress, a hint of the moment we'll finally be free. I can't